Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness / cheese talk podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Balding.
I am monger extraordinaire, Roger Norquist.
Oh, the manga. Bring forth the manga.
Ask me any question about cheese. I guarantee you I'll know it or make up an answer that seems legitimate.
Today's episode
How
of
did
Werewolf
they smash
Radar.
the pepper into pepper jack?
With a tiny chisel and a hammer, and they just literally inject that little pepper in there after the cheese is made.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by the Monstroco Swiss cheese reholer. Just slide the tool in, pop the cheese back into those holes. Where do the holes go? We don't know. Is this an improv product that I'm making up because the other one makes little sense now? Because we've been talking so much about cheese. Yes, it is. Would you like to hear the original product? Probably. Now that this one's kind of flailing in the water. Let's take another pass on that. Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by the Monstroco Turtle Desheller. Just slide, pop, scream, and eat. This year's turtle boil will be broken tooth free. The Turtle Desheller from Monstroco, creators of the Turtle Resheller.
It's something I could use. Also, I feel now I have to apologize for the sharp decrease in turtle populations. Yes, I have been eating them.
Oh, yeah, you gotta eat a certain number of turtles, otherwise they'll, overrun the nation. We're keeping the population down, is what we're doing.
My understanding is that while you sleep, you eat something between 20 and 50 turtles every night.
Every night.
And the fact that you're eating them with the shells on, and it doesn't even wake you up. And I think that if you keep a Monstroco Turtle Desheller by the bed, like next to your, notebook for writing down dreams, your water bottle, your handgun, turtle desheller right there, I think you'll use it in your sleep when those turtles crawl into your house, up onto your chest, and slowly towards your mouth. Just grab it.
I like to think that they're doing
out.
it themselves. It's a turtle's natural instinct to deshell itself.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
And
you think they do it like in like in Looney Tunes when it takes a shower?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, the shell is part of their skeleton. It's got a lot of spine in it. You'll see. Use the Monstroco Turtle Desheller from Monstroco. What the?
Then you can use those turtle bones.
Turt bones. Make a soup out of your turt. Make a turt bone. Guys, can I go first? May I have the speaking skull?
Open it up. The box is yours.
I'm going to take a bong hit and then blow it out into the mouth of the speaking skull, shotgunning it with, I guess it should have done it to me, huh? It's doing it back. There we go. And it gave me the spooky shotgun. And I don't know if this one is even so spooky. It's just weird and fascinating in that way that only Japanese manuscripts from the 1600s can be. That's right. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about what is known as harikigaki, which is a term for a kind of a proto-Japanese germ theory. Long ago in Japan, this is from cryptids.fandom.com. Fandom.com, they do great shit. Long ago in Japan, human illness was commonly believed to be the work of tiny malevolent creatures inside the body. Right?
I think every culture went through that learning experience.
The demon inside the popcorn.
I do believe long ago marks last week.
Harikigaki A book of medical knowledge written in 1568 by a now unknown resident of Osaka introduces 63 of these creepy crawlies and describes how to fight them with acupuncture and herbal remedies. The Kyushu National Museum, which owns the original copy of Harikigaki, claims the book played an important role in spreading traditional Chinese medicine in Japan. Here's a few of the beasties you might find in the book, and if I can share the screen, I will show you the beasties.
I think you should be able to. Make sure you have sound on just in case.
It says it's disabled.
That's because you're doing it wrong.
We don't need sound for this one. We just need the operator to cease errors. There we go. That's the stuff.
And of course, listeners, feel free to check out the YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. So first up, we have Gyochi and Haimush.
They are adorable Pokemon.
Gyochi and Haimush. I don't know if those are respectively their names, but one of them's Gyochi and one of them's Haimush. Oh, jeez. Did I just close that whole thing?
I think you deleted it. I think they're going to have to fix the website.
Son of a gun diddly-un.
Ooh, who's that gentleman?
That is a very generous interpretation of rods, air rods, which are, as we know, insects photographed by older cameras that people were like, "What is it?
What is the rod?"
Gyochu and Haimush, a deadly critter responsible for leprosy, acts as a messenger to the underworld. On the night of Koshin no Hai, an important day occurring every 60 days on the Chinese calendar, Gyochu leaves the body to visit Emadayo, lord of the underworld, and tell him of your misdeeds. So not only do you have leprosy, but he's narking on you.
Yeah, you got a snitch inside of you.
Exactly.
Emadayo, when the emissary to the underworld is like, and I'm taking your foot.
Truly. Enmadayo is known to punish people for bad behavior by reducing their remaining time on Earth. Oh. Haimushi, a creature with an appetite for rice, causes problems with the lungs. If the Haimushi exits the lungs and cannot find its way back in, it turns into a fiery will-o-wisp, Hitodama, and the person dies. The herb Byakujutsu is effective in warding off Haimushi.
But as long as you have some sort of relationship, symbiotic relationship with this character, you can breathe rice.
There you go. Kanshaku is next. Do you see him there?
Oh, that's an adorable one too.
Sleepy, pudgy fellow. Kanshaku is an angry-faced bug found in the liver. Aggravates its host by violently thrusting itself upward toward the chest cavity. Yikes. Infected people tend to shout out with rage or engage in activities to blow off steam, and they crave acidic food and avoid eating oily food. Acupuncture can stop Kanshaku. So if you know somebody who's like grumpy and loves pickles, they might have Kanshaku going on. That describes me some days.
Oh, acupuncture, Jordan. I've been telling you for decades now.
Next up, Izo no Keshaku and Kanmushi. Hizo no Keshaku causes problems with the spleen, but it can be cured by ingesting shazenji, also known as plantago seed. Kanmushi is a harmful parasite that embeds itself in the spine, causing it to curve backward. Infected people also develop an appetite for spicy food. The herbs Moko and Byakujutsu are effective in fighting off Kanmushi. These ones are crazy. The parasite kind of looks like tempura shrimp, and Hizo no Keshaku looks kind of like, I guess maybe, I don't know which one is, oh yeah.
I assume the captions are correct. I'm giving them a bunch of credit there for it.
The spleen guy kind of looks like a shrimp / leech, And the kanmushi kind of looks like a weird long
It looks like the
seal?
Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
I like how what is it? Byaku Jutsu
Yeah.
isn't that a cure for another one?
Yeah. I think this is just kind of put together by the Byakujutsu.
Kind of like how the
lobby.
garlic council's all over cancer research.
Yeah.
Dude,
Some of these,
no.
this one looks like a legendary Pokemon for sure.
Yes, that one's got a lot of design that the kids would buy into.
His name, if we're going in the order, is Hizono Kasamushi, and Akuchu is the other one. Hizono Kasamushi, a worm found in the spleen, causes its host to gain or lose weight based on the amount of food it eats. The herbs agi, giant fennel, and gajutse, purple turmeric, are effective in controlling Hizono no Kasamushi. Akuchu, this other kind of more centipoidian-looking fellow, is also found in the spleen. Consumes rice eaten by the host. Drinking moko is an effective antidote. So I guess that he eats the rice that you should be getting.
Yeah,
so he's
kind of like
stealing your rice.
it's a tapeworm.
Tapeworm. Yeah.
Oh, weirdly, these are both kind of proto tapeworms. A lot of these ended up being like true. You know, these are kind of, in a way, like, yeah, they're not little monsters, but yeah, you're right. There is something in there that is making this person skinny, you know?
I would hate to be the first doctor researching a mysterious death caused from like starvation. They're
Yikes.
eating, but they're just starving.
Yeah.
And then you see a worm pop out its mouth or belly, the dead
Terrifying.
man's corpse. You would have to believe in whatever you would. I'm a demon man now. I live in a world of demons.
Have you ever lived with a demon? Because I have, and this is that story time.
Yeah. And then you write this book.
Yeah.
Haishaku. It's a critter found in the upper lungs. It has a nose that opens directly into its chest. People infected with Haishaku hate pleasant smells and foul smells, but are fond of strong, fishy smells.
Ooh, I have one of these in me then.
Other symptoms include extreme sadness and craving for spicy food.
Guys,
Gentle, shallow acupuncture is an effective treatment.
I found out what's wrong with me.
You got a Haishaku.
And it's time I book that acupuncture
Got it.
session.
Kakuran no Mushi, a worm with a black head and red body, invades the stomach and causes vomiting and diarrhea. It is known to come up into the host's mouth and poke its head out. Try to grab it and you choke for air, but let it go and it returns peacefully to the stomach. The herbs Goshuyu, also known as Eudodia rutacarpa, Shazenshi, and Moko are useful in fighting Kakuran no Mushi. That also sounds like a tapeworm.
It causes vomiting and diarrhea, and then it's all like, don't try and grab it. Let it go peacefully into the stomach. To cause more vomiting and diarrhea.
Koshi no Mushi flies into a host's body and makes its way into the lower back area where it causes diarrhea, sweating, and chest pains. The herbs mako and kanzo, licorice root, are an effective treatment. This one kind of looks like a caterpillar with butterfly wings, and it's very long, also tapeworm energy. Hishaku and Hinosha, two kind of grumpy clouds.
One of them has a smile.
And yet he's still a little grumpy, isn't he? He's all prickly. They look like something you would turn into in like Wario World.
Yes.
Hishaku is found in the spleen of most often females. Symptoms include an overpowering appetite for sweets, a yellowish complexion, and a tendency to hum. It can be stopped with acupuncture around the navel. Hishaku kind of looks like a cloud with a red glow in the middle and a bear's head.
Yeah, yep. And the other one is like the Joker baby.
Well, I'm the Joker, baby.
Yeah, the other one kind of looks like the blobfish.
Yeah. It looks like a pile of mashed potatoes that somebody poured ketchup onto and a smiley face.
Hinoshu, also found in the spleen, looks like a rock and remains dormant inside the body until the host visits a crowded sightseeing area, at which time the Hinoshu causes dizziness by thrashing about and creating the sensation of rocks crashing against each other. Acupuncture is an effective treatment.
What can't acupuncture solve?
I really like the era here where acupuncture is basically magic.
Stab him! Stab it! Poke him with needles! Stop that, or I'll poke you with more needles.
I've heard good things about acupuncture for like muscle relief and stuff. This guide from fanpedia.com or whatever, fandom.com, is really gonna get me to subscribe to get myself an acupuncture session.
Do it. You should. That does it for my segment that I'm calling The Bugs in You and Me, according to 16th century Japanese medical manuscripts. Maybe we'll come across these guys more later. They're kind of a monster in my pocket of little tummy cryptids, or more folkloric. Japanese culture loves a collect 'em all scenario, you know?
Many numbers of things. I don't know enough about the culture and whatnot, but I'm fascinated on it.
Yeah, like your Pokemon, I think Monster in My Pocket was originally a Japanese thing.
But we've also have it. I think every cultures are truly into it because we also have, I think, in your early Christianity / Hebrew demonology, you know, the saints are a good one. I was thinking more so of like the countless demons that all can crawl up in you at night.
Sure.
Yeah. King Solomon famously had, I want to say, 120 of them?
Yeah, he had a bunch of demons.
Yeah, back off, Japan. You don't have a monopoly on collecting them all.
Who is the greatest demon catcher in the world, though? That's something for the internet to decide. I'm talking more so in Ash Ketchum.
Yeah.
Was Solomon the greatest? Was this guy who wrote the Demon X of Germs the greatest?
Solomon's pretty good, huh? Solomon was way up there. The demons were
up
like,
there.
Roar, and he was like, "You man."
And he banged that queen.
Did bang that queen.
Who I believe was stolen from him by a demon.
Oh boy. And round we go. All right, what's next? What's next on the menu?
I believe
Papa's hungry for strangeness.
I believe Nate is next, and I will close my segment with us learning about what the Greys really are.
Oh, what are they?
That's for the segment after Nate's.
Well, I'll tell you what they're not. They ain't no Thunderbirds. I made quick jest about this earlier, saying that I was going to look up Thunderbirds, as in drinking a giant bottle of Thunderbird, and then I just ended up looking it up, trying to see when the last few sightings of Thunderbirds have been, and I have a few.
Let me guess when the latest one was. Let's all take guesses on it. Mine, and please feel free to, Price is Right me, but I think, let's say 2015. I think recent. Jordan? Most recent Thunderbird sighting. 2024.
And there might be one from 2024, but if there is, I didn't find it. I believe the most recent one is going to end up being 2018.
Damn.
Wow.
So
I gotta come on down.
Yeah, they're rare, but they're out here catching them. Ash.
Unless this one... Well, no. I've got one from 2022.
Oh, Jordan wins.
No, I went over. You still win.
No, we're not playing full prices right.
Everything's Price is Right.
Playing
Everything's
half
prices right.
We have all determined. This is the world we have agreed to live in.
Fair. It's a better world. It's a more just world.
But most of them are not all that recent. But they're also still fairly interesting. So this first one is from 2013. Specifically, October 2nd of 2013. These are all first-person accounts, so even more interesting. My husband was driving home early this morning and pulled off of Highway 30 on the last exit headed toward Ames, Iowa. He said he got to the top of the exit ramp, turned right, and came up to another stop sign on Lincoln Highway. He stopped the car there instead of proceeding because he said he saw a giant black bird take off from the ground in a cornfield across the road. He said the wingspan was around 40 feet wide and the body enormous. And in parentheses here, bigger than small planes.
Yeah, 40-foot wingspan is.
Yeah.
What's a Cessna at?
Pretty gigantic. It's candy. Well, it might be
Size
approaching
of
40. But
Cessna. I think I spelled it. Oh, I spelled it way wrong. Either way, it is a 36-foot wingspan. So yeah, it's bigger than a small Cessna.
he said he'd never seen anything like it. He said it just flew off up into the clouds and disappeared. He said it wasn't a very graceful flyer either, which is fun.
I mean, could something that large be like? I refuse to think that dinosaurs that flew as gracefully as the Jurassic Park films make it seem.
Yeah,
they were gliders more than
well. I don't know. I mean, anything that can evolve to the point where it can take flight probably has a pretty effective method. Although there are definitely.
Have you seen an albatross clunk around? They're fucking
they
drunk.
soar. They soar as hell.
Well, that's for the footage that I just played.
Once they get up there,
they soar for thousands of miles at a time.
No, they're drunk. Oh, yeah. They take naps every 50 miles.
Where is this hatred for albatrosses coming from?
They're rescuers.
Is this a specific albatross who hurt you in your youth? Who's never there for you? He's probably drunk again.
I never should have shot that albatross out of the sky while I was sailing around.
Yeah, you had to eat something.
This apparently happened at approximately 6:50 in the morning. And according to this thing, he didn't want anyone to know, but upon further research, it seems that these sightings have appeared in Iowa before and all over the country throughout history. Of course they have. So that's our number one sighting in Iowa.
Pretty good.
This one, we're jumping back pretty far. We're going to 1977. But a very good
so I was in my van grooving to some Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Young was still in there. This is on Monday, July 25th of that year. Ruth Lowe of Lawndale, Illinois, was cleaning the family camper in the front yard when she heard her 10-year-old son, Marlon, screaming from behind the house. She dropped what she was doing, dashed to the backyard, and saw a gigantic blackbird with a wingspan exceeding 8 feet that had grasped her 56-pound son by the shoulders and was attempting to fly off with him. According to Mrs. Lowe, the bird came very close to succeeding. It had managed to lift the violently struggling boy off the ground and was slowly flapping its way across the yard. And if this is an 8-foot wingspan Thunderbird, that's maybe a pubescent Thunderbird.
Yeah, I'm reading at least 20 feet on some of these.
Yeah, and 8 feet's still tall. are pretty long. It could be
Pretty huge, but
I assume there's many species of thunderbirds if they are a real type of bird.
No, it's got to be one guy, right? There a bunch of different giant birds going undiscovered.
I think they all live in caves.
Oh, okay. You're imagining some sort of bird world they're coming from.
A bird world. They typically stay down there with their bird world sun.
Down there. Oh, they fly around the inner sun.
Yes.
I see.
Winds
Read
are
Rogers' novel,
Bird World.
The Bird Riders of Inner Earth.
Either the child was too heavy or the bird was startled by the frantic cries of mother and son and dropped its prey. The bird soared skyward and, joined by an equally large companion, flew away. Which is all interesting because I don't think I've ever read a story about there being two giant birds trying to kidnap a child.
Children are the tastiest snacks. That's why coyotes go after them. That's why birds, larger
Goblins.
owls, goblins.
Kappa.
Alerted by the blood-curdling screams from the backyard, Jake Lowe and next-door neighbors James and Betty Daniels came running, arriving in time to witness the bizarre incident. Later, Daniels told a UPI reporter, if I had just had a can of beer earlier, then I could have said I imagined it, but I didn't have any beer that day.
This was a Monday. That's my day off.
Once the predators were out of sight, the Lowes measured the distance and determined the bird carried Marlin a distance of approximately 35 feet. The witnesses described the flying behemoth as follows. It had a white ring around its half-foot-long neck. The rest of the body was very black. The bird's bill was 6 inches in length and hooked at the end. The claws on the feet were arranged with 3 front, 1 in the back. Each wing, less the body, was 4 feet at the very least. The entire length of the bird's body, from beak to tail feather, was approximately 4.5 feet.
Damn, that's even that's a huge bird.
It's pretty gigantic. Officials were quick to discredit the family's version of events. I love officials discrediting stuff. According to experts, gigantic child-snatching blackbirds aren't exactly a common sight in the skies over Illinois or anywhere else.
I should hope not.
Yeah.
Where are you guys moving? We were gonna go to Illinois, but you know what's a common sight in the skies there? Gigantic child-snatching blackbirds. That sounds like a byline from a Fox News story.
Very much so. Perhaps it was suggested the birds were turkey vultures or king vultures. However, neither of these species, which weigh around 50 pounds, and that's, I think, pretty heavy.
That's pretty big, yeah. Vultures are some huge-ass condors. Or maybe all condors are vultures? I forgot how it goes.
Interesting.
Well, in any case, they are big enough that they could take a child. However, it's worth noting, vultures mostly dine on carrion and not live prey.
Yeah, they're not hunters. They like the easy kill. They like the meat to get a few more parasites before they munch into it for flavor.
They gotta have some of those Japanese parasites in their duodenums. Assuming they have a duodenum.
Yeah. No offense to non-duodenum having people.
Am I a non-duodenum having person?
Speak to your duodenologist, everybody.
It's easy to scoff at and dismiss a single encounter, but the Lowes and their neighbors weren't the only ones who saw the gigantic bird. On the evening of July 28, 3 days later, a woman driving not far from Lawndale reported being buzzed by a giant bird. And a couple hours later, a group of model airplane aficionados were approached by a bird with an estimated 10-foot wingspan.
Hachi-machi.
Yeah, ruining their model airplane time. The following day, a mail carrier by the name of James Majors reported seeing 2 large birds flying about above a pig farm. Suddenly, one of them dropped from the sky, attacked what he estimated to be a 50-pound pig, and hauled the squealing swine into the air. Shortly thereafter, it landed with its prize, at which time it was joined by its companion, and the two apparently ate that pig. Suburban Illinois is not the only place to report encounters with giant airborne predators. 1967, a monster bird with a reported 15 to 20-foot wingspan flew over Middletown, Ohio. In the 70s, there was a whole spate of apparently Texas sightings, including one in January of 1976, where two San Benito police officers reportedly saw an enormous bird gliding over a canal. Pennsylvania also apparently has a ton of Thunderbird sightings dating back at least a couple hundred years. But yeah, that's that one for the most part.
Okay.
Now here's one from 2015.
Okay, this one's fresh. This one we can maybe still find evidence for.
We'll riff. We can mention what was some stuff happening in 2015.
I think Kendrick Lamar just released To Pimp a Butterfly
on the radio. One of the Fast and the Furious is for sure is in movie theaters.
I think the Avengers.
To quote The
just
Simpsons, the domestication of the dog continues unabated.
So here's a first-person encounter. This one comes from Stone County, Missouri. I was looking through some of your earlier columns and read about the large birds people reported seeing here in the Ozarks. I immediately remembered my own sighting of what I believe was a Thunderbird, as they were often called, back in July of, well, okay, so she says 2013. This is being reported in 2015. I remember it was
Kendrick just released Mad City, Good Kid, Mad City. The Avenger, Nick Shield, finally started creating his Avengers initiative.
Hit us up if you were alive in 2015, and let us know what it was like.
Because we were sleeping.
I remember it was late in the morning on a Wednesday, and it was sunny and already uncomfortably hot. I was driving south on what is called the River Run Road on my way to visit a friend in Forsyth, and had just passed Silver Creek. All of a sudden, I noticed something flying toward the road no higher than a private plane coming in for a landing. But, if anything, a little bit bigger than a Piper Cub. I almost ran off the road when I realized that I was looking at a huge bird, much bigger than any that we normally see in the area. And, in fact, bigger than any bird that I had known of in the world.
Oh.
Even bigger than the emu?
Bigger than Big Bird.
Bigger than Big Bird.
Okay.
He is legend.
I immediately stopped to watch it cross over the road. There was a dark gray car coming from the opposite direction, and it slowed down for a moment, then took off and passed me going the opposite direction, like the devil himself was chasing them.
Ugh.
When it went by, I saw a man driving and a woman turned to look out the back window, but the bird never gave any sign of noticing them at all. The bird just flew across the road like it had someplace to be and could care less about a couple of cars, climbed a little bit higher above the ground, and curved off more toward the southwest. It just stayed on that path until it got too far away to see anymore. She goes on to say, wild that there definitely was a secondary and tertiary person to have witnessed this. Although they are, they're not reporting themselves. She goes on to say, boy, I did leave out a lot, didn't I? The bird I saw was very much like an eagle in its body shape and the way it flew, but far too big to be one. The color was a solid chocolate brown all over with a yellowish beak, and that was kind of curved down, almost like a parrot. I'm not great at estimating feet and inches, but I would say from wingtip to wingtip, it was at least 20 and maybe even 25 feet across. The body was probably 8 to 10 feet long, and the legs were a lighter brown, held up tight against the body instead of dangling, like a crane's would do. It definitely did not resemble any bird that I'm familiar with, even if it would have been more normal in size. I did have my window rolled down, but never heard any sound from it. which you would expect a thunderbird to cause a sound.
The flapping,
kind of
unless
in the
it was
name.
gliding, which I did look up videos of the albatross, and you both are right. They are very graceful flyers. I apologize to the albatross community for my spreading of lies about them being drunk.
Wow,
But
I mean, they
birds
might
make a
be
lot of
here.
noise lifting off if you're doing it at a dead still. Like, there's a lot of running and shit. Birds make noise, is what I'm saying.
Some of them.
I hear them flapping all the time outside my window.
Do kiwis make a noise?
Ooh, that's
I
a
bet
fun
they do.
one.
I bet
Good
they
question.
I bet it's
Some bird-
adorable.
Probably.
do. Certainly some birds are silent, right? I feel like we're missing a big silent bird.
Well, apparently the thunderbird,
Well, yeah.
despite the fact that it's qualified by thunder.
I can't imagine getting up there, soaring majestically, and not wanting to go, you know?
The writer goes on to talk about the question concerning other witnesses. The only ones I'm sure about was the couple of the other car that took off so quickly, and I have no idea who they were. I don't remember seeing anyone outside within seeing distance, and I asked several people I know in the area over the next few days. None of them had ever seen a bird like I described or heard anyone else mention seeing one that big. One friend did tell me several years ago she was outside after dark and heard a loud squawking sound from up above her, but when she looked up into the dark sky, she could not see anything. I have contacted several people mentioning seeing UFOs in the area over the year, and I will either get more info on their stories to send you or pass along their email address. Thank you, Angela from Stone County, Missouri, for finally bringing together Thunderbirds and UFOs.
I could see that.
I mean, it could be, maybe it's just as simple as like I've got an idea for the UFOs.
Okay.
What if we painted a
What if-
bird on the bottom? And then when people are looking up, they'll be like, that's just a giant bird. Birds sometimes are big. Surely this won't arouse any suspicions.
And it's not like a scientifically advanced bird by any stretch or painting of the imagination.
Yeah.
It is like World War II, slap a hot lady on the side
Oh.
of the plane.
Look at what we do when we're hunting
It is
ducks.
airbrushed.
Or photographing gazelle or lions or whatever. It's like you put a little piece of some grass on your head, you put a duck on your head, and you're like, I'm a duck too.
Just a duck.
We're just a bunch of ducks looking up into the duck blind, baby.
All right, that's fair. If we are basically the ducks of Earth, we can see
Sitting
stuff, but we're not
ducks.
bright. We get tricked easily, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So apparently there's also in Pennsylvania, in the Black Forest of Pennsylvania, there have been Thunderbird sightings dating back at least to July 1978, with the most recent sighting, according to the article that I'm looking at, in October of 2020. Recent enough that it should be worthwhile news. The Black Forest Thunderbird is described as a bird looking like a large vulture or eagle, black or dark brown in color, and has a wingspan between 12 and 20 feet. While I cannot completely dismiss the sightings people have come forward with, I believe there is an explanation for most of the sightings. I personally believe that the majority of the Thunderbird sightings have a natural explanation, and reading through the reports, 8 of them are described as looking like a vulture or eagle. It is possible the sightings are known birds that witnesses think are larger than they are due to line of sight. If they have nothing to compare the bird's size with or only caught a quick glimpse of it, it is possible witnesses believe the bird was larger than it really was. While that's a possible explanation, it doesn't work for all the reports. So here's a couple reports that this person found that are pretty credible.
Okay.
This is in the spring of 2004. He was sent an email from Robert F., who, with his son, had an encounter with a large bird. Robert described himself as an outdoorsman who had hunted and fished all his life. In the summer of '03, Robert and his son had an encounter with a large bird just south of the junction of Route 872 and Bailey Run Road, wherever the fuck that is, while fishing the Cinnamahonic. We had planned on fishing the Cinnamahonic when we saw a large bird I could not identify. We've spotted numerous eagles over the years, and I know this was not an eagle, though they are often spotted in the area of Cinnamahonic State Park. We had been fishing for an hour or so when my son asked if I saw the large bird at the water's edge, about 50 yards south of where we were standing in the creek. I laughed and told him it was just a heron. He told me I needed to look because it was not a heron.
He's like, I know what a herring looks like, Jim.
It took a couple
I'm
of
this
minutes.
region's preeminent heron biologist.
It took a couple minutes for me to make out the bird standing among the tall grass. The bird was large and covered in dark feathers. I mean, this thing was huge. It was easily 6 feet tall. It had a large, odd-looking beak. Something about the way it stood made me think it had positioned itself so it could watch us without us knowing it was there. It felt like we were being hunted by this thing. I told my son to make his way towards the bank while I watched it. He had just made it to the edge of the creek when the bird took off. In 53 years, I have never witnessed a bird take flight like this one did. It launched itself straight up into the air about 12 to 13 feet before spreading its wings and flying downstream. Its wingspan was easily 20 feet, if not more. As I watched it fly away...
The physics on this thing are insane. Sorry, Nate, go on.
No, it's totally bizarre. As I watched it fly away, I was amazed how silent it was. For a bird that size, you would think it would have had to make noise, but it didn't. After the sighting, we looked online and did find a bird that looked very similar to what we saw. And they are mentioning the shoebill stork, which I think we've talked about as a potential Thunderbird sighting before.
I've never thought of that as...
Well, because they're not as big as any of the descriptions of a Thunderbird.
It's just a reasonable, I guess, explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Sorry, I wasn't trying to challenge you. I was just...
Challenge him.
That was the first time I'd heard that, and I was surprised by it. Because that does make sense to me. They have such gargantuan features.
Yeah.
It makes sense that it would be, in some way, grotesque.
In a follow-up email, Robert added this information. Thinking back on that day, 2 things stand out about the bird. One was how easily it blended into the weeds on the stream bank. I should have been able to see it. Even after my son pointed the bird out, it took me a while to spot it. The other thing is how quiet this thing was. I never heard it make any sound as it stood there or when it took off. For something that big, it should have made some noise, but it didn't.
What noise do you think it makes?
Caw would be my go-to.
I'm thinking
Well, like deep voice. The bigger the bird, the deeper the voice.
Cuckoo.
Like a car passing you in every direction.
Yeah. I guess it would make thunder sounds, huh?
I mean, it's definitely an onomatopoeia.
Well, you know why they call it the Thunderbird, huh?
Because it
loves poops
thunder.
lightning.
I don't necessarily remember the whole story, but something lives in storms, catches whales and drops them back into the ocean or something.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah, didn't one drop a whale into the middle of the Amazon forest like 10 years ago?
Crazy.
How else did the skeleton get there?
Answer you tell me, the web.
Please comment below.
Comment, like and subscribe.
So I'll do this last one here. This is from Josh W. in 2014.
Okay.
Who writes, as a hunter, there are things you don't want to admit you witnessed. Telling fellow hunters you witnessed something strange in the woods makes you the butt of many jokes and teasing. I used to be one of those guys who made fun of those who saw something strange in the woods. One of the guys.
Sure,
who used to-
buddy. A deer.
You're saying
the
a
guy-
creature with horns on top of its head.
And the
That's-
horns look like branches. Sure, buddy. Smoke another one.
Weirdly enough, it was a one-pointer.
A spike, I believe.
I'm sorry, you saw a unicorn, my friend. One of the guys who used to hunt with us once claimed he saw Bigfoot, and we joked about it to the point he stopped hunting with us altogether.
Nice. Destroyed a friendship.
Get his ass. He
Hilarious.
shouldn't believe in things that he's seen with his own eyes. He should be lampooned.
In the fall of 2004, I saw a gigantic bird. I've never seen a bird this large in my life, and I do not ever want to see this thing again. It changed my life.
Whoa.
I used to love being out in the woods, but no more. I'm done with the woods after what I saw.
Whoa.
That
I
year,
mean, German tales tell us
Yeah.
to stay out of the woods, children.
German tales tell no lies, as they say.
That year, I was with a group of friends hunting along the Ridge Road. And then it tells you approximately what it is. Doesn't matter. Somewhere.
Yeah, you can listen to
somewhere
the
in
Toby
Pennsylvania.
Keith song of the same name to learn everything you need to know about that place, probably.
So, Route 44 between Renovo and Moshannon.
There you go.
We parked near the big rock, and we all headed out to the places where we could sit for the morning. I made my way to the spot I had picked out and climbed into my stand and settled in for the day. I had been in the stand for an hour or so when I saw a large bird I could not identify. It was barely clearing the treetops, and I first thought it was a glider. If it hadn't been so close that I could see it as it was a living creature, I would have thought it was a glider, but this was no glider. It soared over the just over the treetops, crossed the field I was watching, headed northwest towards Renovo. I've hunted for over 30 years, and I do not have a clue what this thing was. I never heard any noise coming from it as it glided over the treetops. I ended up watching the sky for it to return, and once I was sure it was gone, I ran for the truck.
Wow. Crazy.
I was done hunting for the day.
And
group I was-
for the rest of your life, my friend.
Yeah.
Listen. You're not a good hunter, and here's why. I'm coming at him.
Get him. Drag him.
If you were truly a hunter, that would not be your instinct. If you were a true hunter, you would say, "I have a new quarry."
Yeah, exactly. You think Craven the Hunter would see this thing and let it exist in his purview, in his territory?
I think a good hunter would flash some flag signals to the deer on the opposite end of the valley in its hunter's post, and you and the deer would join forces to hunt this creature.
A good hunter would set his hunter's quarry on this thing and track it for the rest of their life if need be. This would be their white whale. They would destroy everything to take down this quarry, stuff it, hang it on the wall, and eat its giant drumstick at Thanksgiving.
Now who's right, Margaret, as you just feast into a two-handed drumstick?
Yeah, it's undercooked, getting parasites. If you've never done this before, you had to do it by yourself. Margaret wouldn't help. You were gloating too much.
In any case, those are some Thunderbird sightings.
Pretty good
First
stuff.
persons,
Pretty
which is
good
always
stuff.
fun to find.
My man, always.
And you can check our Discord as well. The Society of Arcane Studies posted a nice link to their website entitled "Look to the Skies: An Investigation into Thunderbirds."
Ooh.
Give that a read. You can find it on our Discord, and you can find
it
the
a
link to our
read.
Discord in all the YouTube descriptions.
We've got some stuff you should read.
Written by sensible people, not the novel I'm trying to get everyone to read, Bird World. The
Bird
Bird World
World.
series.
Yes. The Bird Riders of Inner Earth, I believe.
Yes.
The Bird Riders of the Hollow Earth. I can't remember what I called it. but-
I'm working on the next novel's title.
yeah.
The last one was just Bird Riders of Earth, and now we're going
And
to
then
really
it was Bird,
get into
and then it was Bird Riders of Hollow Earth, and then it was Bird Riders, Crowborn, Bird Riders,
Bird Riders of Pern.
Worm
Big
Drinkers, Bird Rider's cat slayer.
Child of the
early
bird rider.
catches the bird riders.
And then the one from the other side of the story, which is just called Dirt, and it's about being a worm in the Bird Rider's world.
Anyway, I got lots of writing to do.
No, it would be something else. It'd be like a
it's about Shai Hulud.
No, I think it's like, so if they're the bird riders, then these guys are like the worm drinkers. The worm, they herd worms for worm milk, and it gives them like some kind of psychic power.
Anyway, maybe a chapter or two coming on our Patreon. Check that out, patreon.com/Werewolf Radar, where you might see the future stories of the worm riders there.
Can you imagine if I was the type of person who found creative pursuits relaxing? Sometimes I wonder if that will ever happen. And you can just chill out and write a novel. That's what Brandon Sanderson does, apparently. I heard him quote, they were like, "What do you do to relax?" And he was like, "Writing is relaxing for me." And I was like, boy, really? I'm terrified the whole time.
He just puts on some Metallica and just writes away.
Writes about some really heady political theories sometimes. Not really heady. Some very light theories that seem to throw right in the face of all the money he's giving to the Mormon Church.
Well, let me take the speaking skull and wrap up this episode with some discussion on aliens. We talk a lot about them.
Heard of them? Mm-hmm.
We've gone into a little bit of them, but we've never really done it.
You see them every day in your place of work. Your family members.
Really done a in-depth analysis from an internet page on them. What do you all truly know about the Greys? No, this is discoverhubpages.com/education/
I've forgotten more than I know about the Greys.
Characteristics.
So many little factoids about them that it's all kind of melded into one massive. I couldn't tell you which is true and which is fiction, which is a work of pure fiction, frankly.
Well, check this out, because I have a nice little guide. Let me share my screen for a moment.
Let me hit you with what I think I know about.
Sure.
Greys. 3 to 5 feet tall. 3 to 4.
Okay.
Emotionless.
Okay.
Seem to be able to transpose matter, or at least not interact with it in the same way that we do. Perhaps biomechanical in some way, sort of a drone cast, we think.
Sure.
Psychic abilities, telepathy. Huge dick. Did you see Paul?
Well, this picture is proving one of them.
Look at those abs.
Look at that third leg
Look
there.
at that schlongus.
I've never seen the third leg of a Grey drawn out so vividly.
E.T., the extended fang.
So I'm here at hubpages.com because I found a very interesting guide on the Greys. It really breaks it down. Are you ready to go over it? I'm scrolling down. You should be able to see it. Am I on the screen as well?
Is this going to be erotica?
Nice.
I mean, anything's erotica if you've got a heart on.
So common
more upsetting than funny? Sorry.
Common physical
Was it my
traits
use
of
of
the
the
Greys.
antique hard-on parlance?
They are overall humanoid. No visible skeleton structure, although I mean, like, the skull is definitely part of it. You know,
well, I
see a
think it means
skeleton
like
here.
you don't, but none of it's visible.
Oh, like a bug.
Right, or like us with our teeth and our bone spurs jutting out of our shoulders and eyebrows.
My
Greys
teeth aren't visible because of too much candy.
The Greys are bipedal, and they
That's what it
stand
does. That's what candy does. It doesn't rot your teeth away. It makes your teeth invisible.
They don't have muscles, despite this one having a six.
That one has an incredible
this one's got
six-pack.
pecs.
Yeah, this guy's got cum gutters. Come on.
Yeah. Come on. Him. Yeah.
But here we go. Small, thin torso. They range from 3 to 8 feet. I also don't know if this is accurate. This is just like a 8 feet tall. Everything we've been taught is a lie, Jordan.
It's news to me, cowpoke.
They're hairless. Large, round posterior skull. Black eyes. 2 nasal openings. As you see, this goes into it.
Yeah. Keep going. Narrow, elongated chin tapering to a V. Now, why do they need the V chin? Is this some sort of evolutionary advantage to eating pussy? Who knows?
So ask me a question, I think, and we'll see if this bingo card of gray facts has it. What do you want to know about them?
What do they eat?
What do they eat? It actually does not have it on there.
Okay, do they sleep?
Do they breathe?
Do they sing?
Okay, so I was
Can
wrong.
they dance?
This one doesn't have everything about it.
Do they feel?
How many times has one of them played Fred Astaire on their planet?
Have they heard Gloria Estefan?
Okay, so I did find a sex answer. They have no external sex organs.
Boy. Wouldn't
Larger
that be
grays,
convenient?
though, if you could just hide ours.
Hang on.
Do they have?
I want to hear about
internal
these. What
sex
larger
organs?
grays are packing?
Larger grays report to have some vestigial reproductive capabilities.
Oh. What does that mean?
I think vestigial means outward.
Okay, so he's got like a wang.
I'm
but it's
looking it up. Vestigial. Nope. God damn it. We're not.
This is sounding like nub territory.
Yeah. Roger, did you accidentally just Google vestigial genital?
I did. So
why did
forming
you
a
do
very
that?
small remnant of something that was much larger and more noticeable.
Okay.
Biology, rudimentary or atrophied. So they got an atrophy penis from not using it.
As a culture, we have removed the 9-inch cock.
We found it too cumbersome and messy. It's not that we were threatened by it. We just didn't think it made a lot of fiscal sense.
So I have all sorts of things here. Let's get on to some sort of track. We have the common physical traits of grays, which we went over. 3 to 8 feet tall. They're hairless, humanoid shape. They have 2 nasal openings, I assume for breathing or smelling. A narrow, elongated chin tapering to a V for, love. Thin legs proportional to the arms. They're basically a box.
Yep. Interesting. No visible nards except for the big ones who have heavy hangers. We call those pawls.
Some characteristics of them. They're highly intelligent, surprising physical strength. Despite having no muscles, they got strength. Slow, deliberate, and precise in physical mobility.
I've heard robotic used to describe.
I have as well, and that could maybe explain the slowness to where there's an operator or it's processing what it's doing immediately, so it's like moving with each set of data that comes in.
Interesting.
Efficient in the dark.
Efficient in the bedroom. Got it.
Often appearing to be naked, though. Sometimes wearing hooded robes or uniforms.
Okay, this just sounds like an orgy.
Sensitive to ultraviolet light.
Again, orgy.
Have been known to make threats.
Okay. This is getting weird.
Capable of communication telepathically. Reported to sometimes use high-pitched chatterings, whispers, hummings, buzzings, or staccato beeps and clicks.
Guys, this is gonna sound insane, but I think I met this guy at an orgy.
They are reported to do or say deceitful things.
Ah!
This is kind of going into that, what was it, the Alien Almanac, Nate? I forgot what it's called in full. The Extraterrestrial Almanac?
The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac.
This is also, that's not what I anticipate from Greys specifically. I imagine them to be incapable of lying for some reason.
No, they love to lie. They read the Greek histories and went, you know what? They seem to like lying. Let's do it too.
Yeah.
It's a form of wisdom.
Machiavellian.
They are afraid of adult
deserves.
humans, especially the bigger ones of us. They are, and get ready for it, paranormal preparedness. They're responsive to spiritual convictions of humans.
Oh, why?
It does not say. Just adopt this fact into your life.
I'm going to need responsive to be defined a little bit.
Yeah, what is
clearly
this? Fucking children of the forest? The demons are aliens and the aliens demons? What is this? Doom or Doom Eternal?
I do feel that a lot of Greys especially, but the whole Extraterrestrial Species Almanac is littered with flavorings of Christianity.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, 100 P.
Yeah, that is a fact.
And not like normal Christianity, but like
the hard
alien Christianity.
Yeah, the demons and people are working for demons, are demons.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the good guys who are oftentimes white or lions, you know, various symbols of Christianity.
God.
Sometimes
they all follow the
Mike
one.
Matijevic from the band White Lion.
Now, despite not having sex organs, although some of the larger ones got an atrophied penis, probably from getting gangrene, I'm throwing it out there. Some have been reported to have intercourse.
Oh. Where do you find those ones? Just
Just wondering.
Yeah, just for like a report that I'm writing.
Now you asked
article. That's good.
You asked about what they eat, and they obtain.
God damn it, Roger! Where are the horny ones?
We're getting to it.
Oh, sorry.
They're with their girlfriends from Niagara Falls that you never met.
The Greys obtain nutrients by absorbing food through the skin.
Oh.
They just kind of touch an apple and go, yum.
Yeah, now we're getting there. I'm not just touching this apple.
You're that.
I'm having doink with it. That's what I call it.
Now, they obtain nutrients from absorbing food. They also excrete waste through the skin. So the skin's a big in-out situation.
Sure, like a fish.
I think a fish poops.
No.
I think they poop and pee like,
yeah, no,
like
you're right,
normal
you're right.
animals.
No, you're right. You're right. First
This
of all,
poops through its skin.
First of all, normalize pooping through the skin. Second of all, yeah, but a fish absorbs a lot of stuff from its environment. That's why when you put like medicines and stuff in there, they can just kind of.
I do kind of want to see an X-Men comic with a mutant who has that power, though. Just shoots species out of their flesh.
Now, as we've learned from, I forget the guy's name.
My name is Dump, the Chromancer.
Now, as we learned from, I forget the engineer's name, but the guy who survived the marine attack on the secret alien base in Dulce.
Oh, yes.
Dulce, yeah.
The Greys can be harmed by humans. They're weak to guns just like me and you.
Sure, that's one of my weaknesses. I'm not afraid to admit it.
They can shapeshift, though.
A little afraid.
And they don't go into human, they appear fluid or plastic in nature.
Oh. Huh?
What was that guy? Odo. Odo.
Oh yeah. From the
Deep Space
Hercules?
Nine.
Yeah.
Oh. Different
He had a
Odo.
real plasticness to him. They can control the bodies of human abductees.
They can or can't?
They can.
Ugh. So
They can manifest
there's
and
no more info on that?
dematerialize at will.
when it says they can control the body of abductees, does that mean like after the fact, like they can send them back as
As sleeper agents.
mixed up zombies?
Yeah. Who on a press of a button are now under the control of a gray alien, probably pooping through his skin on the toilet right now.
As we speak.
They have telekinesis. They can levitate subjects and objects.
And verbs.
This next ability, these have all been gray abilities.
This is the gray stat block as well.
Yeah, so grays can inflict pain, extract fluids, inject fluids, and use medical instruments.
This is all shit that I do on a daily basis.
They can cause illness and death.
Not that one so much.
They're known to instruct, train, or teach abductees.
Oh, I got abducted and I came back and I knew Pilates.
Now, we've heard a lot of their...
speak French.
That's what I was getting to next. They have, as we discussed, a capable of telepathic communication. They also speak, I think, in multiple languages, in their high-pitched chitterings, whispers, humming, buzzing, staccato beeps, and clicks, all with human analogs for language. They also are able to use colloquial languages. So they're good with it. They're able to speak Southern English. They're able to speak Australian English. They all have Duolingo, man. They can speak Valarian, the language of dragons from Game of Thrones, thanks to Duolingo.
That would suck if you got... Now, when you say Southern English, what do you mean? Like...
I meant American Southern English.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So you get an alien and he's like, "What's up, y'all?
Yes.
If y'all are done fixing dinner, y'all can come back to our'n for supper. Do y'all want a Coke? What kind of Coke do y'all want?"
So that has been the characteristics of the gray. I think everyone is pretty solid on that, except for the fact that they are also up to 8 feet tall, and the larger ones have atrophied genitals. That was news to me. The abilities of the grays, which I think are pretty common. It's pretty mainstream what they can do. They're big terrifiers with medical experiments. They can speak any language and dialects of said language. You know, they got all the colloquial idioms down. Now, some social characteristics. They got a society. You might have heard this, but this one is somewhat new to me. They have a group consciousness that's like a hive mind.
That makes sense to me. It's not news, but it doesn't surprise me.
They appear to have a hierarchical social order.
So there's a king.
There's a king gray.
And he has the most atrophied penis of all.
They are militaristic and systematic in nature.
Same.
They report to give the impression of gender, though there are no obvious physical distinctions. They seem to be two main social classes or maturity groups among the grays. One is very abrupt and crude, while the other is more refined and diplomatic. And then let's wrap up with some of the phenomenon. How do you know a gray is next to you?
Let me guess.
Or coming. Go.
You smell electricity.
No. Nate, give one a guess.
Ooh, I'm on a bus and somebody is screaming bloody murder.
No.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
much
the bus.
every time I ride a bus.
Jeez.
So, number one, you start seeing fog or hazy weather conditions out of nowhere.
Oh, I see fog sometimes.
You hear humming or pulsing sounds.
I hear humming sometimes.
You have cancer, gynecological problems, or other illnesses.
Go ahead and not tempt fate on that one.
A lot of sicknesses and syndromes seem to be associated with the Greys, I think implying that they are interested in our bodies as they decay through foreign illnesses and whatnot.
But what a bummer if they did come here in peace and the only thing that they can do is give you cancer.
As a byproduct of saying hello. Other beings who are commonly assumed to be extraterrestrial in nature. That's just a phenomenon associated with Greys. Other beings.
Okay, I know this one. Is it a giant mantis?
Mantis Man, that's so weird, dude. I almost did my segment on Mantis Man today.
We'll have to delve into that again. They're very interesting people.
There's not a lot of info, but Mantis Man interests.
There's some sightings from
that
the
is not to say
70s,
that
I
I want
believe.
to see Mantis Man or anything like that. And just let's move on.
So underground and underwater facilities is a phenomenon, not a form of manufacturing and industry. Back to phenomenon.
Wait, what?
Just facilities. You know how
Are you so infrastructure?
yes is a phenomenon associated with the Greys, but underground and underwater, which we have plenty of underground facilities as humans. Underwater would be new for us though, but I do believe there are some underwater facilities like on shallow parts of the sea.
Yeah, there's that hotel that I keep seeing on every third Instagram reel.
Now back to phenomenon as we all would define it. UFOs and balls of light.
Oh.
You see those, get ready for maybe a Grey encounter. Betty and Barney Hill, you know, that's their big identifier. False or incorrect prophecies or predictions.
Oh, wait, from who?
I think
The Greys?
you start seeing visions and they're all wrong. Like you see, I don't know. Let's say someone assassinating a president, but it doesn't happen. That's how you know a Grey's there.
Interesting.
Or maybe causing it.
Well, interesting that we should find this out about the notoriously lying telepaths.
They do
Just
like
now.
lying. 4 more to go, and then we'll wrap up this segment. Abductions of
Years?
both humans,
Yeah, I know.
humans and animals. So abductions start happening. It's a Grey. Get ready for it. You're gonna say hello or be abducted, and they will say hello. Feelings of having your soul sucked out. They're real big party drags, you know. Like they're here to ruin the party.
Yeah, real Colin Robinson ass fools.
Now, as we kind of
I don't really need that to be a Grey when I can get that same feeling from every person that I see.
I think every person you see might be a Grey.
Ah!
Damn it.
So as we discussed, they eat through their skin. They also poop through their skin. So nauseating odors is a sign that a Grey might be there. You smell some foul smell out of nowhere. A Grey could be right behind you right now. Turn around.
I will not.
Don't, because there's a Grey behind you.
Don't even joke, Roger.
He's here to touch you with a medical instrument.
No! What instrument?
And then
Radiation.
Radiation is a phenomenon associated with the Greys. I think like the crop circles.
Yeah.
Or what was one? There's a lot of stuff that can be irradiated out of nowhere in the UFO research.
The implants in people's
It does not say implants.
arms that they wake up with.
It does not say implants. It does not say extra
Radioactive
arms.
Feature. That's a thing that happens though.
I think maybe the Greys might be part of it, but not the cause of it. I think another species might be doing the implants.
You think it's us?
According to this Hub Pages website. And it says discover.hubpages.com. So it's a real website with real facts on it.
I believe it. And you.
But I'm going to put the skull away now in its special lead box because it's a little bit irradiated.
A little bit, just a touch.
Enough to get my blood boiling.
Yeah. Got a little
That's
bit of a sun
probably
going on. I can
too
see it.
much.
Yes.
That does it for another episode of Werewolf Radar. We hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed making it for you. You guys are the best. We usually do the plugs at the top, but you know how to find us. Google us. Google me, bitch.
werewolfradar.com, Patreon/werewolfradar.
Twitch,
You find us.
YouTube. You know about it. No, you are. Cheesebot kicking it in the Zoom room, along with Society for Arcane Studies. Thank you all for joining us. If you really enjoy what we did, please check us out on those places that Roger mentioned and see if you can help us out with a small financial donation to the show if you're in a place to do so. If not, please give us 5 stars wherever 5 stars can be given. Until next time, that does it for another episode of Werewolf Radar. On the count of 3, let us sign off. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky!
Spaceman Joe.
Joe.